Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review round 6 of the 2025 NRL Supercoach season. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but we're going to do it anyway. But as you can see, a 1066 this week, which was well off the pace, top 45% for the round. I actually went back in the ranks, so dropped another 1,000 spots. So we're down to 71k. So just nothing seems to be going right for us this season. But I guess that's not a good enough excuse to give up just yet. If we have a look at the team, so we played Corey Pakes over Sandon Smith, mostly because we thought the Broncos would win. That didn't happen. And so we missed out on about 15 points there. Pakes just scoring a 32, while Sandon Smith getting a 47. In the front row was good. Payne Haas is our captain. 83 is a solid captaincy score. You know, it's by no means the highest score of the week, but happy with that as a captaincy score. And Terrell May also an 83. So, you know, the front row holding it down for this team, which is something I didn't think I'd say at the start of the year. Big Tino, obviously, 1 week suspension. He'll be back. Hamish Stewart with a 38. You know, solid. That's all we were expecting from him. He's made a good bit of money. What's that, 100k or 80k? So going all right, ticking along. Second row, so Mitch Barnett with a 57 continues to leak a bit of coin. Horsburgh with 68 was good. And Nafahu White with just a 37 was a little bit underwhelming, but with the news that Lindsay Collins is going to miss a few weeks, it could work out well for us in terms of Nafahu White. We played Thomas Cant, who scored a 53, which was pretty good considering how poor the Knights' attack was. We sort of brought him in thinking he was an upside play. But, yeah, in hindsight, I don't know. I've been watching a different Newcastle Knights play. They've scored the least amount of points in the league this season, but I was backing them in for attacking upside. That's probably part of the problem. Hubner with a 44 continues to solidly make some coin. And Dylan Egan, he was my cheapie of the week, and he delivered with a 99. Unfortunately, I didn't play him. I just thought, you know, Can offers more upside. But it ended up being Egan who offered the upside. Got a start, played big minutes, scored a try, all the things. So Nathan Cleary is a VC. We only got a 58 from. And then for those that missed the comment in the round preview, I did late on decide to use a boost. So we're down to 2 boosts to bring in Jerome Hughes, which was a bit of a disaster going off with the shoulder injury at halftime, only contributing 16 points. So, you know, we paid up top dollar for him. So we paid $770 and we could have got him in a few weeks for $650. So it just sort of summarises how terribly the season's going. In saying that, most of the trades haven't been too bad. We will have a bit of a look in a minute. But generally it's been good. It just, for whatever reason, just hasn't panned out. Jaden Campbell was good though with an 83. Luke Metcalf, 59 against the Storm, given how dominant the Storm were. That's solid. We'll take that. Tui Pilotu was good with a 95, but has a bit of a hamstring complaint, so a bit of a watch there. Shibasaki, 52, made us a bit more money, which is nice. Tamale, so in a side that scored 50, how he only got 29, I have no idea. Made some more money, but I think, you know, he's probably, well, he has made some good money. I think the trade wasn't the best. Tom Jenkins, 47, you know, solid, but obviously the Panthers are struggling. Greg Marzu, 56, again, without any attacking stats, is solid. That's why we have him. Skelton, unfortunately, has redone the hamstring, so he is gone this week. And Rob Toyer with just a 34. So I guess a lot of their attack is going down the opposite edge. But I'm sure with the right matchup, his day will come. And a fullback, Isaiah Yongi. So I guess we were hoping that the big score last week was the beginning of his rise. But 25 this week, Eels didn't look very good from all accounts. I didn't see the game, but to cop that sort of hiding from the Raiders is not ideal. Kalen Ponga, so just again couldn't get involved in the attack. We need him attacking, and he has actually lost money on where he was already at a cheap price. So 122k, that's not good. If you had him and Reece Walsh, I feel sorry for you. But James Tedesco continues to smash it. 91, super solid fullback option. Good to see we got something right there. So I guess before we look at the teams, just have a quick look at the history. Just try and work out where it's all going wrong. Probably in the first week it was this, Purdue to Tamale trade. If you sort of look at them, similar price. Tamale's up to 428, but Purdue's up another 100k, negative 45 break even, and it's just been scoring for fun. 3 round average of 86. So that was, a bum move. I think, Lance Howard to Humphries, solid. Humphries did make some good cash, just got unlucky with injury. Or Duffy to Humphries, actually. So Arthur's to Leia Tower. I guess we did make some good money out of Arthur's. So 160k. So not disappointed with that move. I guess I'll keep clicking on the players. So the next week, so Tuivasa-Sheck to Tui Pilates worked out well. Tuolangi up to Haas was nice. Hetherington to Stewart, obviously, to make that move was pretty good too, I think. Jenkins and Tedesco in for Tommy Turbo and Arthur's cashing out, I think was good. And then, again, it's a bit hard to tell this week, but based on 1 week, this Hughes trade was a bit of a flop. We did have to trade for Humphrey, so we'll hold and hopefully this will look better in the long term. But the 2 cheapies for the other 2 second roles, I think, is a decent move. So I guess just really where, when you look at the overall players' scores and that, probably just where we've missed out is, not getting on Gutho. He didn't score well this week, but, if you take off that 54, he scored 440 points in the first 4 games that he played, which a lot of people got on. Ruben Garrick had that massive week. We haven't had him. Hudson Young, not the most popular, but he's killing it. Pappenhausen's a popular one we've missed out on. Olakuatu's been really good, although it sounds like he might be injured now, so that might give us an opportunity. Probably like Eli Katoa, a lot of people are on. We haven't got on that. Purdue, as I said, is probably the one that's hurt us the most in that sense. But yeah, other than that, I don't think we're doing that bad. It just doesn't seem to be working out. Couple bum captaincy calls along the way, but we'll fix it. All right, but I guess now we can get on to the bit where we look at how much better everyone else is than me. So in the first league, Athios City, Mike's team, scoring 1101. So he's a Gutho owner. He captained Munster, so I think, just didn't have to, I've got all these 20s and 30s yuck scores. I think, a few 40s, so that instantly is 10, 20 points difference. So they're just more consistent across the board without really having any standouts in the team. But just having a look through the league, looks like a 1356 for Steamed Hams, Mel's team. So Captain Cleary, Dave Fafita with a 128. So surely he's bottomed out in price now. 680k, still a fair bit to pay, but I mean, he can produce a 128. So yeah, Dave Fafita, well done there. Had Campbell, Drinkwater, 78. Nicholson's another one we've missed out on. 70. Harry Grant's back this week with the 76. Played Purdue and Pappenhausen. So, there's a few players that are costing us pretty big. In the second league, so East Valley United, Matt's team, squeaked over the line by 13. So Captain Reece Walsh, which wasn't too bad. Val Holmes with the 97 is a good pod. Ruben Garrick with the 79. Nicholson with the 70. So I guess, you sort of put those few together. It probably trumps Tedesco and Tuipulotu for myself. Again, the 20s and 30s just killing me at the moment. And then in the third league, go back, have a look. There was surely someone better than a 1079 in this league. So 1200s, 1264. So it looks like Melbourne cheats. Steve's team, nice with the 1264. So Captain Gutho. Yeah, so has Purdue and Pappenhausen. So again, like I went with Hughes in the Storm attack. It was the worst possible call. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. But yeah, third league. So this one, I don't think I was much of a chance. A 1360 for Kobe Monsters. Belfazar's team. That's a great name. Captain Gutho as well, so I left a bit of meat on the bone there. But again, Purdue and Pappenhausen were the keys. Starling with 77. So obviously, if you got on him as a hooker, you're probably doing better than Pakes and Sandon Smith. Yep, solid scores there. Tui Pilotu, Campbell, Horsburgh, May. So I guess I've got all those guys clearly. Be surprised if there was a higher score than this in the league. Doesn't look like it. 12.98 for Captain Pugwash was the closest. So again, a Pappenhausen owner, a Purdue owner. So pretty much, yeah, they were the two costing me big this week. Have a quick look at the overall league where I've gone further down, 82nd out of 89. Although the league ranks pretty good, 62 overall. So I go by points scored. Quick way of doing this. So a 1360 for Bounce Back Mountain, Damien's team. That's a monster score. So in the top 1,000 for the round. So I had Starling, Haas, May, White, Nicholson, Watson with the 78. So in the back, so Captain Pappenhausen, which was probably the key to that score, because it's just saying he's not a Purdue owner. So there you go. Can do it well. Can do it without Jackson Purdue. Just you need Ron Pappenhausen as captain. Just see if there's any other players that we've missed. So if we sort by points, Xavier Coates top scored this round with a 148, only in 3% of teams. So I guess if you're on those Melbourne outside backs, it can be a bit of a lottery. This week it was Coates' week. Last week it was Anderson's week. The hammer was good. 3 tries against the Panthers, a 124. Probably wouldn't look at him at fullback, but 4% of people are cheering. Hudson Young continues to carve up this year. Avarillo was good as well with a 107 at less than 1% owned. Tarpany, I guess if you can fit him in the front row alongside Haas and May, well done to you. 103 this week. Dylan Egan, amazing. Ethan Strange bounced back with a 96 this week. Josh King, 94 for a 500k front row is pretty rare. Yeah, some good scores here from some mid-price options. Billy Smith, so he would have been cheapy of the week, but I think he's copped a 1 week suspension, so one to keep in the back pocket for next week. Cool. So if we do have a look at the break-evens, so there you go. I thought Billy Smith would be the best break-even, but it's actually Hiroti. So I guess scoring a similar score, 73 but at his lower price point, a break even of negative 61. So I think he is the cheapie of the week this week a bit. I think Billy Smith's job security is a little bit better. Obviously, Hiroti is just filling in for Kale Iro. But I guess if he can make some quick cash, could use it to flip him into Iro when Iro does come back from his hamstring. Billy Smith, as I said, you can wait a week. If you didn't get Dylan Egan, still plenty of time to get on with a negative 55 break even. I think the ship sailed on Jackson Purdue. Even if you wait till after the bye, you're paying 530k. If you believe he's a keeper, which he might well be, averaging 65 after that slow start. Yeah, go for it, but I'm going to let that one go through. Falalo still making some good cash, but probably again not the longest term look with Tommy Turbo a couple of weeks away. Jack Todd coming off the bye this week. If he plays his third game, could be a bottom dollar option if you need it. Jaden Hunt, I think he'll be bench at best. I think Piakura and or Ricky should be back this week. Kickout, if he comes back from injury, has a negative break even, but probably have a free look. Sullivan did all right for those that brought him in as a cheap halfback option, but got himself suspended as well for a week. Kautoga is probably another one we've missed out on. 160k made. Nicholson 170k made. That's Stafford Toll is another one we've missed out on. So lots of great money makers that we've played all around, unfortunately. So I guess that brings us to what we're doing this week. And I guess the areas we do need to fix is we obviously need to get a bit more out of our hooker spot. And saying that, no hookers are really jumping out of the ground screaming, pick me. I do like Connor Watson as an option. The only thing is I think he's playing Origin. So if we trade him in now, we've just got to trade him back out in a few weeks. And then, try to trade him back in. So I want to try to find a decent option that's not going to be in the Origin mix, which seems to be easier said than done. Front row, obviously, we're not worried about. Second row is going well. These guys are solid enough. Maybe don't offer the upside of a Katoa. Obviously, Nicholson's been offering upside. But the cheapies on the bench are making some cash, so we'll keep that going. As I said, the Hughes pick, just unlucky timing. But, pretty comfortable with these halves at the moment. Obviously, Metcalf will lose a bit of cash. Playing the Broncos this week, so could work out all right. Yeah, centre wing is probably where we need to fix up. Copping too many of these dud scores. We need to lift here. And then fullbacks, like obviously we could trade Iongi sooner rather than later. Break even at 2 means he will squeak a bit more cash this week. Ponga. Yeah, I think it's like, what do you do? Do we just bring in Gutho and the like, Pappenhausen? Um, Perhaps, I guess we'll see. But I think centre wing is where I want to really go this week. So let's just have a look at the break evens. This is all sort of live. I haven't had a chance to look at it before now. So looking at the break evens, I think Shibber's done, Skelton's done. So let's see, what sort of cash in bank does this give us? 13.26. So I guess for the two targets I want, we might have to go to a third. So the two I'm looking at, Farnworth and 1 second, phone's going off for the thing I forgot. It was cancelled. um, and did I go by average? Yeah, so he wasn't that high, was he? Where is he, my guy? Here he is, Jacob Caraz. So we still need to find 60k. So just having a look at the break evens. So Tamale would be the next one on. I guess one thing we just need to be a bit mindful of is having a bit of a look towards Origin. And so like he does play 12 and 13, so he's going to be a handy number during that time. Depends how serious Tui Pilotu's injury is. We would like to hold him because he is basically keeper levels at the moment. Jenkins has still got money to make. Marzu, he's still running at base level, so that's fine. Toya's great Origin coverage. So do we trade Iongi, push Tero up and run in the flex? Because I guess the cheap option we are looking at is Hiroti, which is why I'm looking in the centre wing. But is there another option? Don't know. Don't think so. What kind of break evens? Was there anyone else? There was Jack Todd, but again, don't really want to trade anyone in here. I guess so. We are going to use another boost. We only have one left now, but we've got to do something to fix up this absolute train wreck of a team. So I think it will be Tamale to Hiroti. Cool. Um, so then I guess just working out who we're going to play this week. So the Tigers and Para on Monday. So I guess at worst, Yongi will be on the bench, but there's a good chance he won't feature. Um, Jerome Hughes is an interesting one with the 5 day turnaround. Does he get up? They might just rest him for a week. They do have Wishart, which is a fair luxury for the Storm. Um, so I might just leave him on the bench in case he's a late out. Um, so Tino will be back. So I guess at the moment we can chop Iongi, put Tino in. So the hookers, so Pakes against the Warriors, Sandon Smith against Panthers. So on form, you'd think Sandon Smith is the better option. But I guess surely the Panthers got to lift at some point. So I'll just put Terrell May on the bench just because he plays in that last game. Um, so we've got Cant. So Manly and the Dragons on Thursday night. Do we want to play Egan? The Knights play the Sharks on Sunday Arvo. So Sunday Arvo is probably a nicer game for attacking footy. Again, just the Knights aren't that attacking of a team, it would seem. Um, let's go with that anyway. We'll see how we go. We might be able to play a couple of centre wings. So if we swap, so I guess if we go based on price, that's our centre wing as it stands, which isn't the worst on paper. Obviously, if Tui Pilotu's injured, that changes a bit. But Jenkins against the Roosters, like can Penrith lift? Who knows? So do we go Toya even in that game? The Sharks against the Knights. The Knights haven't been convincing, so I think we can play Hiroti. So yeah, so I think we'll go with that for now. Um, like I said, obviously if Tui Piloti's out, we've still got Toya as cover. We could play Yongi if we need to, if Hughes is out. Can is an option. Even Sandon Smith, maybe. We do have enough players, but I guess we just really need to try and get to a stronger 17 a bit quicker, I think, is the problem. Playing too many of these sort of Iongi, Metcalf, sort of, inconsistent cheapies. Again, I'll say that I've got Jenkins and Hiroti on my bench this week. But yeah, we'll leave the video there. We don't need to ramble forever. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you're enjoying the Supercoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.